Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tea with Publicity. Super excited for today's episode. If you're new here, nice to meet you. Welcome to the Tea Tribe. If you're watching on YouTube, this is a disclaimer that I got a facial this morning. So no makeup, pimples out and bleeding, bloody. So just don't mind my face. My ends also look split, like not sure what's going on. And we're just going to pretend that I look okay. And thank God this is mostly audio. So anyway, again, if you guys are new here, let me just outline what we're going to do. I do my little weekly catch up, catching you guys up on what I've been up to. Then we will hop into the interview with Pilot Pete and Dustin. And then we will do your Ask Alyssa advice segment where I answer your questions. Mackenzie's here with me today. We'll dish out some amazing advice. And then we'll do the Spill the Tea segment because we need to talk about the tragedy that was the Kissing Booth 3.
A true tragedy, or whatever that word is.
So bad. So yeah, just to catch you guys up, I'm trying to think, my week's been fine. I was so busy last week. I sat down with Pete and Dustin, and then I did the bonus Love Island episode, which I'm also going to be doing another bonus Love Island episode this week with Will and Kira, so keep your eye out for that. And I've just had so many people on my recording schedule. I have some really, really, really good guest lines up for you guys, so I think you're going to be excited. I have someone from Summer House coming on, a really popular influencer. I think I might have Bathsheba from Unorthodox from Netflix on. So just a bunch of cool people lined up, and my week has just been aside from work, I went out to dinner this weekend with my new coworker. Her name is Alex. She just got hired. Did you meet her yet?
I didn't meet her yet, but I've seen her videos and stuff.
She it's so funny because she was in the Tea Tribe before starting here.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's so funny.
So she was like, oh my God, I know your content. She listens to the podcast, so she knew everything.
Yeah.
She's moving from Oklahoma and relocating. So she was like, you want to get dinner? And I was like, yeah. Because there's not that many people that are my age that work here.
Yeah.
She's 28. I'm 30, but that's closer than 21-year-olds,
Right, yeah.
And she's married. So it was just nice to hang out with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And she was super, super sweet. So we got dinner. I posted this thing on my Instagram that I wanted to just talk about briefly today. So, fun fact, I just absolutely love writing, and I just had this thought that came to me, so I decided to just type out my feelings and post it, and it got such a positive response. So I want to read it, and then I kind of want to talk about this concept a little bit. So I wrote, the other day I heard someone say something that resonated with me. Would you want to be friends with the person inside your head? It's a hard no. That person doubts herself. She's negative. Quite frankly, she's a bitch. So why are we allowing her to be this way? What if she was kind, compassionate, encouraging, and confident? I bet you'd want to be friends with her then. How about we vow to teach her how to change? She may mess up sometimes and even revert back to old patterns, but eventually she'll learn, she'll grow, she'll heal. Let's give her the nurturing she needs to be the person we know she could be. Because at the end of the day, that person inside your head has the ability to be the best friend you've ever had. So I actually heard this concept, I think, on the Call Her Daddy episode with Anna Lynn McCord or whatever her name is.
From 90210.
Anna Lynn said something about being friends with the person inside your head, and it really struck me, and I'd been thinking about it, and it's so true. When the way we talk to ourselves inside could be so negative, and it's you would never say that to someone else. Mm-hmm. I catch myself being so mean to myself.
Right. Yeah, I think Brianna Chicken Fry said it on her podcast, and she was like, think about the things you say to yourself. Say you don't like your outfit, or say you feel a little fatter or bloated or something, and you're thinking about that. Think about saying exactly what you say to yourself to your friend, and you're I would literally never say that to another person. And so you have to really think why would you say it to yourself then? If you wouldn't say it, you wouldn't call someone else fat to their face.
It's so true. So that's funny that she said it too, because I've been thinking about this a lot and just checking myself with the way I'm talking to myself. And I just think it's so important to be aware of that, because your negative self-talk really impacts yourself. And then also I was just thinking, I'm I was listening. This is like, again, this is like my inner psyche, guys. I was listening to a podcast with Zach Clark, who's Tayshia's fiance.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like recovery. And he was saying how addicts like have to stop lying to themselves. And sometimes that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
So then I was thinking about like, do I lie to myself? Not that I'm clearly not an addict, but like I was just thinking about how we lie to ourselves. And I was like, basically, I think we all do. Like, why do we all make excuses for things? Like, you know, oh, I didn't work out because I was tired, or I didn't do this because of this. Like, we all just like make these excuses. So then something he said really resonated with me too. So I've just been on this like journey of being like, let me think about the things I'm making excuses for, the things that are going on inside my head, the thoughts I'm having. And it's like what I talk to my therapist about a lot is just like being intentional and having integrity. So it's like intentionally realizing your thoughts and what you're saying to yourself and what you're thinking, and then also having integrity of like not breaking promises to yourself. So if you say I'm going to go to the gym and then you don't go, that's like you're not holding up integrity to yourself.
Yeah.
But if you made an appointment with the trainer, you would show up. And my therapist was like, we actually should dig into that deeper. Like, why do you feel like you could let yourself down, but you can't let other people down?
Yeah. That's so interesting.
Isn't that like a weird concept?
Yeah.
Not to get really deep right now, but this just like, again, I just share with you guys what I'm going through. And like, these are just all the thoughts that have been like swirling around my head.
Right.
And I'm just trying to check myself and be like, negative thought, okay, no, turn it into a positive. Or I don't know, just like little things like, oh, I'm being lazy, or I'm being this, instead of just reframing it and being like, no, my body needs this rest, or my mind needs this healing, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's just a concept I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I'm definitely going to put my words down on paper more and share quotes and share my inner thoughts, because it's like therapeutic for me to get it out, and then also to just see the response of like how many people it resonated with was really rewarding. And who knows, maybe I'll turn into a quote account. Okay, last thing I want to talk about. Like I said, got a facial today, and it was so this is again where my like inner demon comes out. I was sitting in the facial, not on my phone, and instead of relaxing and enjoying that moment, I was like, I should be doing this. Like, I was going through the checklist in my head.
Right.
And then I was like, no, this is self-care. Like, allow yourself to relax while getting the facial, versus like sitting here thinking about the 10 million things you could be doing instead.
Like, give yourself grace.
Give yourself grace. And like, finally I was able to, normally during facials or anything like that, I'll listen to headphones.
Yeah.
And they were getting in the way. So I took my headphones out. And I actually was thinking I was thankful for that, because I would have just been listening to a podcast instead of like being alone with my own thoughts. And I feel like sometimes I do that. Like, I'll put on a podcast, I'll put out music so I don't have to hear myself think.
Drown it out.
Yes. And I realized today, I'm like, that's probably not a good thing, that I can never sit in silence with myself.
Oh, yeah. I was like having that issue last night, because when I go to sleep and I have something the next day, I'll just constantly be thinking about it, and then I can't really sleep at all.
It is the worst feeling.
It's so bad. But it's similar to that, where you're constantly thinking about everything that you need to do rather than just relaxing and going to bed.
It's also like, what are we going to solve worrying about it?
Exactly.
Literally nothing.
Exactly. But I still can't get that through my head.
No, because it's a really hard thing to turn off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I actually was nervous that was going to happen to me last night, because I've become this like awful sleeper recently. And I don't know if it's an anxiety thing. I don't know if it's like a hormonal thing. I feel like when I travel with my friends, I notice they fall asleep sooner and they wake up later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I up spiraling?
Right.
And why am I up early still spiraling? Like, why can't I sleep like everyone else?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like a routine thing, but I feel like sometimes it's I can't turn my brain off. And I just need to chill the fuck out.
I know. It's the anxiety, though, and it's for no reason whatsoever.
Okay, so do you want to know what it is, guys? My anxiety was so good. Like, it'd been amazing. I went on birth control the last 2 months because of, I think I talked about this, but because of like, I had to for a reason, like I had a cyst or whatever, and they help keep them from growing. And I had to go on birth control after not being on it for years. And like, it's 100% giving me anxiety. I know it's because of this medicine. I was throwing up last week from a migraine. The Wednesday after my episode aired, I went home. I had such a bad migraine. I went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. I was throwing up from how awful this migraine was. I know it's because of the birth control because I got my period the next day. Like it all was hormonal. And I'm actually going to, instead of like suffering through another month, I'm going to put like a appointment on my doctor's calendar and be like, hey, we need to figure this out.
This needs to change.
Because I know that's what's creating my anxiety.
Right. Especially you were like, there's a correlation between not being on it and getting back on
100. Yeah, I was fine.
Right.
So I'm like a little annoyed because it's like kind of out of my control because I'm taking this medicine every day that's making me feel this way.
But you have to take it because the other issues.
Yes.
It's a whole thing.
So I need to like get to the bottom of it. But I think that's kind of what's like disrupting me at this moment. Okay, guys, I don't know why this turned into like me just venting. But I am going to get into the interview with Pilot Pete and Dustin now. I wanted to ask them things that I feel like they don't normally get answered. My biggest flex is the fact that I asked Pete what type of flyer he is because I just think it's like very important because I'm someone that personally loves like a vocal pilot. So I just needed to know if he was vocal or if he was like more passive. So we got that answer out of him. They're really cool guys. I think you read stuff about Peter and people assume things, and like the Peter that I've met a few times now is just like down to earth and normal. So like cut them some slack. And then we will get into the Ask Alyssa segment and then we will spill some tea. So here's the interview. I am here with Dustin Kendrick. Is that your name? Like you have 10 names on your Instagram.
Do I?
Wait, what?
What's the middle name?
Oh, Dustin B. Kendrick. The middle name is Blaine.
Blaine. Okay. I was like, which one is it? And Peter Weber, aka Pilot Pete.
What's going on?
Welcome aboard.
I think
It is good to be here.
people normally have 3 names, right? No?
Well, I don't have a middle name.
Oh, you don't?
Really? Okay.
Wow.
Is that like
I
that's
hear
weird,
it.
right?
What's your ethnicity?
I'm Italian. 100%.
100%?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that normal in the Italian culture to not have a middle name?
No, but I think my mom was like, you have such a long last name, like Amoroso. So they were like,
Hey, you don't need 3.
you don't need one.
You got 2, yeah.
I don't know. You could maybe use a Marie.
Wait, that's like the Italian middle name, like Alyssa Marie.
Yeah.
I made my confirmation middle name Noelle, and my sister like jokes. She's like, "Why did you choose Noelle of all the names?" But that's neither here nor there.
I feel like every other girl I've ever dated's middle name was Marie. It's a very common middle name.
Marie.
Wait, so my mom's middle name is Marie. Come to find out, I'm like looking at her credit card, like Judy M. Amoroso, whatever. Finally, one day, I'm like, "Oh, Mom, like your middle name Marie." She goes, "Oh, it's not legally that. I just picked that when I was younger." I'm like, "It's on your credit cards." Like she just writes all her paperwork as if like that's her middle name.
Let's just throw it in the mix. Why
But it's
not?
not on the birth certificate.
Not
anymore.
legal at all.
That's funny.
I mean, yeah, technically maybe she makes a big purchase and it's like, actually, I don't think that was really me.
It really wasn't me. It's a good cop out.
All right, boys. So you're living in New York City. How do you like it?
I freaking love it.
Yeah, it's been, I'm not going to lie, this has been a crazy year.
Well, it's COVID, so it's like you probably kind of moved at like the worst time.
Honestly, though, we moved in. So I moved in January, and then Dustin came in a month later. So January was still kind of locked down,
Yeah.
but I feel like every month since then, it's been cool to see the city slowly open up from an outsider's perspective. And we didn't know what we were missing, right? Because this was our first time here, and so it's been awesome. Obviously, yeah, a little bit unique of an experience, but I've been loving every second of it.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
We've been hitting the ground running.
We went out one night. I was drunk that night. Like by the end of the night, I'm like, I gotta go.
Well,
The night that I met you guys, I like Irish exited. I looked at Rod and I was like, I'm going. He was like,
You guys
all right,
said-
yeah, same.
No, you didn't say an Irish exit. I think you said
You guys said bye. Yeah.
Just like,
yeah.
But you know when you hit that point where you're drinking, where you're like, no, I'm gonna go now. Like that
Yeah.
was me.
No, for sure. We had a night.
Yeah.
Red Lion, I'll do that to you.
Yeah.
Red Lion's so much fun.
So much fun. My memory of Red Lion is one like Valentine's Day. Me and my friends went there and we just like were dancing with the bands, like single girls, like quintessential like single girl, like I almost just said 4th of July. Valentine's Day. No difference.
Same shit.
Same shit. So, okay, I saw a little taste of like what it's like going out with like a former bachelor and like an ex-bachelor contestant in New York. Is it so hard for you guys? Like, it's a lot. Like, we were with people from TikTok and they were getting recognized too. But I feel like there's a different thing. Like, Rod, people were recognizing him. One, because he's tall as shit.
He's
He
huge.
is. I had no idea he was that
giant.
tall.
He's so big.
I met him, maybe a couple days before I met you, and I was like, wow, was not expecting.
Yeah, we're
that.
like,
It's like the most like best kept secret. I'm like, Rod,
Seriously, yeah.
I'm like, you weren't going to tell me you're 6'6". Like, I'm meeting you for the first time. And I would have been shocked had I not known like prior.
I thought he was like 5'10".
Yeah, exactly. That's what everyone
It was a
said.
surprise for sure.
So anyway, so Rod was getting stopped, but it's more of like, I love your videos. You guys, I feel like people are like, hey boys, like hands on the chest. Like, is it very invasive?
Invasive? No. Yes.
100%. Yeah.
It's very invasive. They should actually do a documentary of how we probably get like sexually assaulted and shit. No, I mean, not like nothing
I get
serious.
what you're saying.
Wouldn't go that far.
Well,
I don't know what's happening with you.
I don't
but-
know. We've had some.
little
We've
harassed.
had some harassments. I would say. Some older
No,
women,
I mean, it's invasive when someone's touching you. Like, come
Yeah.
on, man or woman. It's like, all right, back off.
Yeah.
It's weird to watch because, like, I've gone out with other people from reality TV and have seen the way people, like, respond to them. But it's been mostly, like, women. So it's different. Like, girls come up to girls and they're like, let's get a picture. Girls come up to guys and they're drunk and they're like, how am I going to take this guy home?
There's like
New York girls are very aggressive.
Yeah.
100%. That was an adjustment for me, but I mean, I don't know. What do you do in that situation? Like, I am such a, and I'm getting better,
It's
but
an
like,
adjustment. You were the Bachelor. You had nothing but aggressive girls all over you. What the fuck you thought?
all right, in that kind of situation,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like I have to like get better at it. I've always been such like a people pleaser, so I'm not the guy that's gonna like brush you off and like kind of be rude about
Yeah.
it. Maybe I should in more situations, but that's just like I feel so uncomfortable and awkward. So I kind of like, but it is weird. I've had situations where just I definitely don't feel comfortable, but I don't know.
I know. It's like, what are you supposed to do?
What do you do?
Because then if you're rude, you're Pilot Pete, the rude bachelor.
Yeah.
But then if you're nice, it's like, oh, he was flirting with me.
It's a lose-lose.
It's a lose-lose.
I don't know what to do. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
It's crazy. It's such a weird world. Like, do you guys feel like dating now off the show is like just way even harder? I was actually thinking about this concept. I was like, you go on the show ready for marriage, right? You're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm at the point where like I could potentially get engaged. I feel like you leave the show and you're like, I need 3 years to heal before I even look at marriage again.
Yo, spot on.
Yeah, I would.
100%.
I would agree. It's like once you're done with the show, like people see you. It's very difficult dating. Like
Yeah.
people only want to hang out with you and be with you because of you have this little bit of fame. You're on TV, so you don't even know who's genuine or not. And also, like, I think you kind of want to have fun as well. Like this.
It's true.
Yeah, no,
you
there's
just
nothing wrong with
want
that,
to. You
for
just
sure.
want to enjoy the attention and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the last thing you need to. I mean, if you're in a relationship right away and you're getting all this attention from all these, I mean, I feel like that's
Like not normal at all.
No.
And yeah, is very difficult. But I remember for me, the second I was kind of, well, obviously I got into a relationship, with Kelly, and that happened. But after that relationship ended, for the last 8 months, the last thing in the world I wanted was a relationship. And just, I hadn't had that for the last 2 years. Everything
Yeah.
had been focused just on that. So it's been nice to.
Well, you had like 35 public relationships.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Who does that? That was kind of weird, but hey, it was an
Hey,
experience.
listen, I think you get a lot of hate for no reason. Like, first of all, you're a young single guy, like, on a dating show. What do people expect? Like, this is my one, like, gripe with the Bachelor franchise. You have other shows like Love Island or Temptation Island, and, like, they're allowed to just, like, hook up with whoever and be wild. Someone on The Bachelor, it's like, it's such
It's like
a
we're
family
held to
show.
a different standard.
It's crazy. It's
we're
like,
shamed.
what
Yes.
do you think happens in the real world? Like, we get ghosted all the time. Like, you hook up with someone, that's just dating.
Right. You have a great point. Yeah. We definitely are held to a
I
different
like
standard.
this girl.
No, because I always watch The Bachelor and I'm like, I think that's the one thing that they're doing wrong. It's like they're still trying to have this like family image where you watch like Love Island or the other dating shows and like people are just being themselves and it's so much more natural because they're kind of not held to that standard of like, you're the Bachelor, you're the Bachelorette, you have to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's like you guys have no room to fall, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just too because, the difference, with Netflix or whatnot and having this be on cable TV and yeah, definitely more of I think a family type but it's not though. I wouldn't consider it a family show.
But I guess I grew up watching The Bachelorette with my mom, as a kid. So I guess it kind of started maybe that way. I think it has progressively become more racy and stuff. Compared to what it was,
right?
I
mean, now you see shows it's F Boy Island coming out on HBO.
Exactly.
I'm like, are these guys getting just shredded apart?
That's the thing.
We are. I don't know.
It's so true.
I applied for that.
Did you?
You would be great on that. I have to say, they had a bad casting. That was my only. I watched a few episodes and I
haven't seen it yet.
Casting could have been better. I like to kind of dabble a little bit into everything because I recap stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll give everything a chance, except I can't do that Netflix show where they were dressed as animals.
Animals?
That looks good though.
It's
what?
It's like it's like Love Is Blind, but with animal makeup artist face. It's insane.
I haven't even heard of this show yet.
It's
no.
full prosthetics.
Is it out right now?
Someone looks like an armadillo. Someone.
This is a dating show?
Yes.
That's weird.
I haven't dabbled because I'm I don't know if I can go there. That's another level.
That's is that some crazy fetish show? Like people what is that?
It's so you get to know each other without seeing what they look like, but it's you can't wear a mask. You need to look like an armadillo.
You can't see.
Do they walk around like the animal too? Act like?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't watched.
Let's do it. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. Let's do a recap.
It's called Sexy Beasts.
Ooh. Sexy. Holy shit.
Sexy
wow.
beasts.
Interesting.
I can't. So okay, I'm gonna pivot a little.
Okay.
From sexy beasts, but we talk a lot about mental health on this podcast.
Okay.
How are you guys? How's your mental health at the moment? And how the hell is it coming off of a show? Because I started this job and I had this much eyes on me and it affected me. Yeah. So how is it for you guys on an ongoing basis? You
definitely have to practice keeping up with your mental health for sure. I think what's good for us, we talk a lot outside the podcast. Yeah. I'll tell him man, I am fucking stressed with work and what's going on and everything.
I think it's good that we both have an understanding about where we've both been there together, and so we understand each other really well, and so we can be there for each other and just have we have a lot of solid just real conversations and checking in with each other. And if one of us is struggling with whatever it is, or this post or this came out, we're very lucky to.
Yeah, we're communicative. Yeah.
I had a friendship episode recently and I had my best friend on and we were talking about the importance of having a friend that you could openly talk about mental health with and just be honest with. So it's good that you guys have each other because you came from the same situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's nice. You need someone to lean on. You got all this TikTok hate. The second you started.
Holy shit. I do not.
We actually had a. He was so pissed one day. He's I don't get it.
I legitimately do not get it. I don't know what I'm doing
bizarre.
wrong. I'm not trying to act like I'm the best dancer. I know I'm not. But
You're just having fun.
I just enjoy it, and then I just go and I read it. You can't even look at the comments. I'd cycle back and forth between turning off my comments and then back on. I'm I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give them the power. But it's just I'm a human at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't understand it.
You could block certain words. So they think they're commenting it, but it's not posting. So it's you don't give them the power because they think it's going through.
Yeah.
That's the good. Yeah. Just a little pro tip.
I honestly, I'm not even really into TikTok anymore. I'm just it just breeds, I'm such a positive person. It just breeds so much negativity. I'm why? Life is so short. It's too short. Why am I going to subject myself to that? So, I don't know. I try to make cameos on your TikToks, but that's the extent of my TikTok.
Yeah. It's funny. These people would never, in person, they would never say anything hateful. I don't understand why anyone would want to bring anybody down. And I don't think they know the effect they have on certain people. I feel bad for real celebrities that get torn apart. Mm-hmm. And it's just insane. I don't understand it either. We both.
Every now and then, I'll have a video on TikTok that will catch and start going viral, and there will be just sometimes you just get on the wrong side of TikTok where you get a lot of negative comments. Yeah. And the other day I had one.
I'm always on that side of TikTok.
I live on the wrong side of TikTok. I basically, like, it was just going viral and I was getting a lot of it was me talking about, like, a guy, and then people were commenting, like, well, it's not like you're that great. Like, just, like, being nasty. People I don't know.
People be nasty.
People that didn't even follow me. And so I just took it down. Because I was like, yes, like, it's going up in the algorithm and you could look at it that way. Like, some people are like, oh, fuel the hate. Like, you're just bringing me up. I'm like, see ya. I'm out. I don't care.
I'm not like that. I think for me too, one of the biggest things it's so unnatural to just essentially not have any of this attention, and then you get thrust into it overnight, and now boom, all these people like watch you and follow your story or whatnot, and it's just very unnatural. But the biggest thing for me, it is been able to just put it into two groups. Yeah, there's a shit ton of hate online, on the internet, commenting on your profile or whatnot. I kid you not, I have had one person in real life ever say anything mean. One person. Everything else has been online, under a keyboard, behind a keyboard,
You're so right.
hid behind that. It's like, it's essentially almost, it's not even real life. It's like, why do you invest any energy in something that's on a screen as opposed to what's actually real life? I have one person in 2 years. Everything else has been all positive. I'm like, all right, I got to like realize what actually matters and what doesn't. And that's definitely helped me.
Yeah, because no one has balls to do it in real life. Like, no one's going to walk up to you and be like, hey, man, you suck.
Right.
Like, it's so crazy.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I always say hate's for the little people. So I want to live a life that like I can't even like be in that kind of energy field.
So you went through specifically like a lot of back and forth with like Kelly making comments and then you rebuttaling and then her putting out a YouTube. It's like, do you just want to put that to bed at this point? Are you like, can we stop? Like, part of me doesn't even want to ask you about it because it's like, when's it going to stop? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's stopped. I did one, I think, on our podcast. I did one, I guess, kind of rebuttal there. Just, listen, obviously there's always two sides to every story. Yeah. And yes, it's true that usually the truth lies a little bit, in between both those sides. But I said my piece, and I truly, I have no desire to like further that. I've moved on. I know she's moved on. So I don't understand why people I really haven't heard too much about it recently. So I think we've all kind of moved on, which is cool. But I'll always say, I truly wish her nothing but the best. It was the most amazing relationship I've ever had in my life. And just because it didn't work out doesn't mean that I think anything different of that. So
no, I think that's big of you. I think, like you said, the truth sometimes lies somewhere in between. It's not that one person's doing something wrong. It's that sometimes you're just like interpreting things differently.
Totally.
It's like your perception of a situation can be completely different.
We're not robots. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. I think that there needs to be like a little bit more grace with stuff like that. Like, what do you guys think of this whole Greg and Katie situation? I feel like that's one of those things too where you could see two sides.
100%. And we've both gone back and forth, like, because we talked about it too. I'm like, well, shit, now I feel like I'm on that side. And I don't know. What do you think?
I think Bachelor fans are just fucking crazy.
Very opinionated.
Like,
there's no doubt about that.
I think people are very opinionated, and that's fine, but don't live and breathe it. Like, people, like, if you think he's an asshole, fine. Tell him he's an asshole. I mean, just think he's an asshole, just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Like, people are trying to bring this guy down, like, big time. And I don't think he's a bad guy by any means.
No.
I don't either.
I actually think he had a good point. Like, he just wanted to feel validation that someone else cared and loved him the same as he was giving, and he felt like he wasn't getting that in return. I don't know. If you're going to sign up for the show, you guys better be prepared. I don't know.
I don't feel like, going back to, there's no way, I've heard this stuff like he's an actor, he was doing, no, this was real. I feel like there's no, unless, I mean, that would have been insane, but there's no way he would have committed that hard. Like, he was fully sending it. Like, if she would have said yes or given him what he was asking for, then he's like stuck. If that's not actually how he feels. So he was so like, that would have been the most insane method acting experience or performance ever. I don't think he was doing that. I thought it was genuine, but I think the biggest thing that I took away, and like, I wish the best for, I don't even know Katie or Blake, but definitely think they have a great story and wish them the best. But I was kind of most concerned with her triggerness at AFR. The fact that she was so triggered by Greg being so happily engaged, that's what stood out to me the most. Do
you want to know my female theory?
Yeah.
Watching it, I think you as like a woman feel like you need to stand up for yourself. So I think it was less about her being like, I still have feelings for him. I think it was more her being like you saw her aunt. Like, I think it's more like female empowerment. Like, I'm going to put him in his place publicly.
Yeah.
So I think she was coming from a place of like, I need to stand up for myself versus like, I love you so much, I care about you, I chose the wrong guy. I think it was a little bit of like ego. Like,
Okay.
I
can see that.
I can see that too.
That's kind of my theory.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, two sides to every story. I understand why Greg wanted validation. Should he have gotten up and stormed away? No. Like,
Right.
they could both be wrong and right.
We also don't know though. He could have come back. The show is
Fair.
edited in a way that you never truly
Yeah.
know what fully happened. So,
But we also talked about this on our podcast. This is a science experiment. Like, it's not
it's a social
natural for
experiment.
you to date someone and you know that they're dating in love with possibly
Yeah.
someone else. Like that, how are you going to react and judge someone for, I don't know. Like,
How is it really like being on the other end of things and watching a girl that you're interested in dating all these men? Does it make you want that person more because there's naturally competition?
that's 100%. That's human nature.
Yeah.
You see your person that you're after being desired by other people. It just, whether that's right or wrong, you're more attracted, I think. And I remember for sure with being on Hannah Brown's season.
Yeah, I'd be like, I want to win. Like, even though it's not that win mentality because you like the person, but you still want to beat out the people next to you because it's like, no, I'm the one that she wants back.
Yeah.
Like,
There's-
it's just human.
Definitely a little bit of that. What Katie, I was like living kind of like, not vicariously through her, I've lived it, but she brought back a lot of feelings for me when she was kind of explaining to Greg how insanely difficult it is to hold, especially at the end. Like, yeah, in the beginning you have however many relationships, but they're not all serious. At the end you have, 2 or 3 that are pretty serious. That is such a difficult, unnatural thing to do. And I totally remember those feelings when she was trying to explain to Greg. Like,
Yeah.
it was very difficult for her as well, and she was navigating it, and she can't just, full out give you all the validation that maybe he wanted in that moment. It's just so unnatural, and like, I didn't do obviously the best job of it. I can admit that, but
I don't think anyone does the best job of it.
if
I
you
don't
did,
think I've ever
that'd be
even.
weird.
I don't think I've ever even liked 2 people at once. So like, I don't even know.
It's the biggest mind fuck ever.
I think I would
It's
be
insane.
like, first of all, I would need a therapist on call, like, to talk me through everything. Second of all, if I'm talking to 2 guys and then I like one more, I immediately put the other one to the back burner. Just like, even if you're like, yeah, I'm gonna like get a roster, you can't help it. Like, you automatically kind of just like deprioritize someone. So it must be really trippy to like compartmentalize all of these relationships.
Yeah.
It's not natural.
No, you can't do that.
Maybe one day we'll see a show where the guy proposes to both girls, and like he's like, "Hey,
See which one.
That would truly be the most.
do you
dramatic
guys
thing
want to
about
like
it.
live together?
A throuple.
A throuple? What's that? What is there a religion that does that? What's
Yeah,
it?
like where you date multiple or you marry multiple.
monogamy?
No, it's,
No,
I know
that's
what you're saying.
Polygamy.
I look at Mackenzie.
Polygamy.
I'm like,
Monogamous is one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Polygamy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the sister wives.
Yes,
Yeah.
sister wives.
Sister Wives
Sister
Bachelor
wives.
edition.
That's
That'd
what you
be
should have did.
interesting.
Be like, you got fucking.
No,
guys.
that was not me. I was not.
You should have just been like, "Hey, I love you both.
Listen, no.
Do you guys want to try
Okay.
to make this work?
Shut up, no.
Peter's like, no.
Who's coming with me?
It's a very confusing time in my life.
Who's coming with me, man?"
Oh.
Not happening.
He's like, look, I get enough shit. Don't.
Yeah, I
add
don't need my
fuel to the
roommate
fire,
now
Dustin.
piling it on. So appreciate you, bro.
Oh,
Thought you had my back. Psych.
No, so okay, fun fact about me. I applied to the show when I was like 23. I'm 30 now. So like this was like, I'm talking like years ago. And I got a call back and it was for Juan Pablo's season. Like, this is how long ago it was.
Okay.
And I was like, no, like I'm not going because I don't want to date someone with a child. Like, I was a child. I was fresh out of college. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's just not happening. And like, okay, point being, I host a podcast. I work in entertainment. I could have went on and like did it for the career, but I think you could want both things and still go on the show. Like, Greg could still want to be an actor, but still want to find love. Do you get what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like, I hate how people draw these black and whites. Like, everyone's going on for social media. It's like, I probably would have been one of those people that if I went on the show, I'd be hosting E. Because, like, I'd use it to ricochet my career.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
But
think
that didn't mean that you
makes-
couldn't have taken it seriously as well and fallen in love.
Exactly, because
If it was the
I
right
didn't want to
person.
date Juan Pablo, so I didn't go.
Yeah.
But, like, had I just been after...
You should have went anyways.
So are you regretting this? What are you telling us?
My point is...
What is your point?
My point is I think you could be a genuine person that still wants a career in entertainment,
Yeah.
but still could go on the show. Like, I don't think that people like Greg or people like Nick Vial that ends up like hosting a podcast. Like, it doesn't mean that didn't have pure intentions.
Yeah, I think for sure, like, you have to be genuine. Anyone that goes on the show is looking for opportunities, new opportunities. You never know what's going to happen. And that's why I went on there. I went on there because it was going to be an experience I've never experienced before, and it could possibly give me new opportunities in life.
Exactly.
And if you legit say you went on there for strictly just love,
That's BS.
you are a liar.
But my point is, you weren't closed off to finding love either, right?
No, you always keep it open. Like, I honestly, when I found out Hannah Brown was going to be the Bachelorette, like, she wasn't really my type. She was a little bit younger than me too, and I was like, you know what? It's probably not going to work out, but let me get to know her. Let's hang out. Let's just see what happens. Let's be open. And yeah,
It's such a, obviously, like we keep saying, such an unnatural process. Anyone that says they went on the show purely 100% for love, it doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Just
I guess
point
it
blank.
just annoys me, this narrative that, like, every time I listen to a podcast or something, everyone's like, I don't like the show anymore because no one's there for the right reasons. And it's like,
no one ever was.
yeah, like, it's like, we know social media exists. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
that doesn't mean that you can't still go on for the wrong reasons and find love.
Yeah.
Like, I always preface it this way. I'm like, I'm dating single in New York. If I had 25 guys handpicked for me, I'd have a better chance of meeting someone there than meeting someone at a bar.
Yeah.
You know, like, your odds are still better.
For sure. Like, what's the guy's name again? He was the tall, handsome guy on Katie's season. He said
Thomas.
Tom.
Oh,
The
Thomas.
Bachelor
For the
guy.
I
Bachelor.
like Thomas. I was like, Thomas is
Yeah,
at least
he
being
he
real.
got shredded apart
Like,
for no reason.
of
right?
course, I went on the Bachelorette thinking, if it doesn't, I would be real cool to be the Bachelor. Like, who doesn't fucking think that? Like,
He was the only honest
He
one.
was the only, and he got ripped apart. Because seriously, when you go on, you don't even know who the Bachelorette's going to be. So how can you sit here and tell me that you're going on just for pure love when you don't even know who the person
Yeah.
is? You're going on because it's a cool experience. Sure, it could happen. You could have the most beautiful love story, and it could be documented, and you could show your grandkids one day.
Very unlikely,
It's
but it
freaking
could happen.
But it could.
It could.
If you're an optimist, it could. But yeah, these people that try to like bash Thomas, I'm like, guys, be real.
Yeah,
Just be
Thomas
real.
was the real one. He
He
didn't
was
get
the real
enough
one.
credit for being like, no, yeah, I thought about it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually loved that because I was like, he's not wrong. Like,
It sounded bad. I
Yeah.
totally get why guys ripped him apart and they took that opportunity, but
Yeah.
it was, I don't know, I thought it was BS. Cause
yeah, but they'd be lying if all of them weren't thinking the
They were
exact
all
same thing.
thinking that shit.
why would you not want to have that opportunity to have 30 women and possibly want, like, why would you not want that?
Yeah.
Well, just also, like, whatever you're doing in life, say, like, it's a way to amplify that as well. Whatever, like, you're passionate about, like, you having that spotlight, you're able to amplify that, and hopefully it's for something good. But just saying,
Yeah.
the opportunities.
No, totally. I mean, yeah, I guess that's what, like, my gut is. I'm like, people just, again, back to them making it so, like, black and white. And I think everyone's just always adding fuel to the fire. And there's TikTok and there's social media and there's all this stuff. Is there a pressure when you come off the show to continue to be, like, a social media influencer? I know you still fly. You said you have a job. Like, did you guys just go back to your old jobs or, like, just doing a little bit of both?
I went right after the Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I went right back to work. I was damn near broke as shit.
What do you do?
Well, now I do. Right now, I have
Hashtag influencer.
I hate when he says that. Yeah, I have some opportunities that I
Yeah.
make money from Instagram, but I have a startup, and it's all about, like, getting people engaged in volunteering, and we reward those volunteers from local businesses. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it's something I feel really passionate about, and yeah, I just put everything into that. But after I got off the Bachelorette, I was in real estate, and I was also a server. And yeah, I had to go right back into serving. It was really weird. It was like a pride ego thing that kind of brought me back. 'Cause getting off the show, you're like, man, am I famous? Like, everyone knows my name. They're calling my name, and then you realize your bank account says you're not famous, and you have to go back to work now because you take 3 months off, and from no work or whatnot, it sucked.
I think that ego piece isn't talked about enough. I think a lot of people come off shows in general and they have a little bit of, like, taste of, like, influencer life and they're like, ooh, this is going to be my job.
Yeah.
And then they quickly learn, okay, maybe, like, I got a few deals right when I got off the show, but, like, now they're slowing down. And I think it's, like, a weird ego thing where people, like, don't want to quit the spotlight,
Right.
but they also aren't making enough money to sustain their lifestyle.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, for me, it wasn't like my passion's flying, so I was always going to do that no matter what. And so, yeah, I didn't go actually right back to flying because the pandemic hit, so I kind of got released from my other airline, and I just recently got, literally like a week ago, qualified back to doing what I was doing before the show. But that was always my mindset because I had a lot of people, they're like, you're going to go back to flying? Like, what do you mean? Why? And I was like, well, A, it's my passion, but aside from that, I don't know the longevity of this. Can you do this for a 20-year career? Maybe. No one's really proven it yet.
Yeah.
Like 10 years, 5 years, a couple years, sure. But I don't know how long. Maybe a couple people can, string it on out for a while and make a career out of it, and that's great. But realistically, like, I don't know if you can make a career out of that for, 40 years.
No, it's true. Yeah, especially when you think like 20, 40 years.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes because I'm like, I'm a podcast host. Like, what am I doing? Like, you just working in this industry, like you said, it really hasn't been done before because social media is so new.
Yeah.
There's been a few people from the Bachelor Nation that have really like made it full time.
But just a couple,
things.
I would say.
Just a couple.
The odds are not in your favor for that.
And they're not really the newer contestants either, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a few seasons back. So I don't know
Like
if
Nick is doing an amazing job of it.
Ashley I.
Ashley I, Ben.
Yeah, it's that whole like season of people kind of, I feel.
Yeah.
Do you guys see like Tyler, Matt, like other people from Bachelor Nation that are in the city?
I haven't seen them.
I have not seen them once.
Wow, that's so
actually, no, that's
interesting.
not true. I saw Matt the only time I met him. I was in Denver for training for United, and one of the nights was a Kygo concert at Red Rocks. It's like this big outdoor amphitheater, so he was there as well. So that was the first and only time that I've seen him. But great guy, yeah.
It's so funny because like they're in New York, but I guess kind of like traveling. Like no one's here full time necessarily.
Right. Yeah, I would say we're all kind of in and out a lot. Yeah. I haven't seen Tyler in a minute. It's been a long time.
He came into the office I think like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's funny because there's so many people in New York, but like they're not necessarily like we don't see you guys like as a group hanging out. Are you guys doing like watch parties? I think I've heard that on your podcast.
We did for the finale.
Oh, I thought you said Bachelor in Paradise, so you might do a watch party.
We would like to, yeah.
Yeah, we went to.
I want to come.
We crashed a little a viewing.
Blue Haven there.
Yeah, Blue Haven on.
I want to go to a watch party. That sounds fun.
Yeah, we were actually thinking we should actually start hosting our own. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Totally. Just get a bar.
What we want to do is a Bachelor roast. So we want to get like a bunch of people from the show and just like roast each other like crazy and like just do like a fun event.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. So
no, that would be amazing. All right. Well, it was so nice chatting with you guys. Where could everyone follow you? Podcast. Wait, you had a book that just came out, I think.
I did. Yeah. The Adventures of Pilot Pete. I never would have thought I ever would have written a book, let alone a children's book.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's coming out in mid-November. It'll be ready for delivery. But super excited. It kind of just follows my story of my first love flying, and from when I first realized I loved it to up to now. And ideally, if it takes off, no pun intended, I would love to make would make it like a cool series and like an adventure series. So yeah.
Oh wait, I have one more question for you. Are you the kind of pilot? This is very important. That lets people know that turbulence is coming, or do you hit the turbulence and then be like?
So funny you asked me that. So my mom is like the worst flyer when it comes to turbulence, and she and my dad were flying back from New York back to LA yesterday, and she's like venting to me like via text. She's like, the captain told us the turbulence is absolutely horrible. We're gonna have to go north through Canada to get to Chicago because it's so bad. Why would she do that? Why would she do that? Like freaking out.
I like when they tell me.
I guess yeah. There's two trains of thought. I am always kind of the belief that like don't unnecessarily freak out the passengers, but you got to give them some warning. And we always do our best, obviously, to avoid turbulence as best as possible. It's never 100% in our control, but unless you really, really need to know, I'm not trying to like make people like my mom freak out, before the trip.
I needed to know because I've flown recently, and I love I'll joke when I land. I'll be like, "Oh, that pilot, he was so vocal. I loved it."
So you like it when pilots talk like, because some people can't stand us when we talk.
It makes me feel like you're in control.
Okay.
Like if you're like I love how I'm like, let me train you on how to do your job.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm taking notes. Let's go.
I love when the pilot comes on. Like he was like, okay, guys, like, sometimes they'll be like in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to be reaching some uneasy air. Just wanted to give you a heads up. And in my anxiety brain, I'm like, he is so in control. He's warning me.
So you're not stressing like white knuckle, like holding on.
No, because then when we're just hitting it and he's not saying anything, I'm like, he's panicking up there. Like he's lost it. He can't warn us because he's like in a bad way. He's freaking out.
Yeah.
So I like when I feel like the pilot.
I feel
knows.
that too, and it's almost like you could paint a face with a picture, even though a face.
What?
Wait, is that? Wait, what's it saying?
Match a face to the.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, if they're talking to you, you're getting like some kind of characteristics from them, and you're like, okay, this is the real person. He seems seems like a decent guy. He's not having a bad day.
Yeah. No, I love a vocal pilot.
No, communication. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not for that. I'm definitely for communication, but I just do my best not to scare people unnecessarily.
Do people know it's you after the flight? Like, before the flight, are you kind of just like you cover up, and then after the flight, are you out there like, thanks for flying?
The funniest thing for me is usually my I mean, I've only had one trip, and this happened on the last trip. So captains usually like don't really watch the show. They have no idea about it. And so like we'll just start the trip. I don't like to ever bring attention to it.
Yeah.
I never say anything. But like then the flight attendants will like come up and like my last one, it was a great group of flight attendants. They were like in their 50s or whatnot, but they gave me like a rose made out of like napkins and like something from like the galley. Yeah. And he's like, "What the hell is that? Like, why are they giving you this shit?"
That's so funny.
And I just like I don't know how to like answer it.
Yeah.
And then it'll happen again, and we're like walking through the terminal, and like someone will come up for like a picture, and like it literally happened. He's like, Did you know that girl? And I was like, no.
Like, are you the guy that landed the plane in the hot sun? He like doesn't understand.
It's hilarious to like see their reaction, and then eventually it just comes out and I'll explain it, and they're like dumbfounded. So I have fun with that.
Because like if I was walking off my flight and you're like, "Thanks for flying with us today," I'd be like, "Pilot Pete just flew me here." I'm so confused. I feel like you don't get asked enough questions about being a pilot, like because I love to travel. Like it's so weird. It's a love-hate relationship. Like my favorite thing in the world is traveling.
Yeah.
I hate flying.
You gotta fly with me. I gotta take you flying around New York.
That just made me anxious. Just thinking.
Pete took me flying when I was hungover.
All right,
Dustin's a bad flyer too.
I'm a bad flyer, and when we went around Manhattan with his buddy, and they were flying us around, I was so hungover and nauseous in this little plane. But it was the most beautiful flight ever.
I've gone on a seaplane, and I was petrified. But this is the thing, I love it. Like. When I'm up there, I'm like, this is beautiful. But I also am kind of miserable.
Yeah, no. That's the best way to put it. It's like, it's beautiful. Gosh, I hope we don't fucking crash. Yeah. But so nice.
The next podcast will be in the air. All right, guys, we're up. That's so funny.
We're coming to you live from the air.
All right, Dustin, where can everyone follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram or, Dustin B. Kendrick, our podcast, Bachelors in the City. Or if you'd like to come volunteer for Guaranteed Karma, we would love to have you. And you can follow us on Guaranteed Karma as well.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Ask Alyssa, I've started getting horrible anxiety the day after I drink. I don't black out, but I get super worried that I said or did embarrassing things and forget about them. I pretty much only drink socially and enjoy going out with my friends and grabbing a drink, but I don't know how to get past this mental block I get the next day. Any tips on how to get past this without going sober? Further info, I moved to a new city last summer, and so the friends I'm hanging out with I haven't known very long. In the last city I lived in, I've really struggled to make friends due to my job and living in a suburb. So I feel like she's probably getting anxiety over the fact that they're people you don't know very well, and you want to make sure you weren't weird.
Not embarrass yourself, yeah.
Yeah. I think you're not blacking out, so you first of all need to trust yourself that you're being cool and normal. It almost sounds like a confidence thing. Mm-hmm. Like you're nervous that, was I cool enough? Did I say anything? They're not going to be your friends if they don't like you for who you are. And maybe you're really fun when you're drunk, and maybe you're a good time, and you have to just know that and be like, I'm fun. There's nothing to worry about. Yeah. I had a blast. I don't know. Do you have any tips?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you've obviously been out before with other people that you're close with. Maybe ask them and say, is there anything you can think of that I did that was weird that I should stay away from?
Hey guys, am I weird when I'm drunk?
When I'm drunk, but I also feel like at this point you would know if you were weird when you're drunk.
Yeah.
If you had good enough friends, they would tell you. Also, yeah, if you're not blacking out, I think it should be okay, but just like make sure you find your drink that you can stay with and keep that kind of for the rest of the night. Like,
yeah,
or not like hard liquor.
Or just drink a little less.
Yeah. And just be aware. Just make sure you never get to the point where you're browning or blacking out.
Also, I don't think it's all psychological. I think it's physical too. I think drinking makes you have anxiety.
Yes.
Don't quote me on this. I'm not a doctor, but something about like your serotonin levels. Like I think when you drink, they spike, and then when you're hungover, they drop. So you having anxiety is also like a chemical reaction to the alcohol, not just like a mental reaction that you're having thinking you were weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's both. So I think you have to be aware of that. And
Like it happens to everyone.
yeah, I definitely get anxiety when I'm drunk.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Like, what did I do?
Yeah, what did I say?
Who did I text?
Yeah, no, it's the worst. I always use being drunk as an excuse too. Like if I want to send like a risky text message, I'm like, well, it was drunk, Mackenzie, you did it, not sober, Mackenzie, so it's fine.
Why? Like,
So don't do that.
when I'm drunk though, like I do say really embarrassing shit in text messages. Like I should not have a phone when I'm drunk.
Oh yeah, me too. Like fully admit
just
I'm in love with
thinking
people.
about it.
Yeah, like no, not great.
I can't even think about my last drunk text because I'm traumatized. Okay, next question. I've been dating this guy who is really nice and respectful, but the one thing that has made me hesitant about things is that he doesn't seem extremely financially stable. Like he has enough money to get by, but he can be a cheapskate. Cheapskate. What's that word?
Cheapskate.
He has enough money to get by, but he could be cheap sometimes, and it makes me cringe. One thing that seems like a deal breaker is that he only pays 10% tip on most bills when we go out to eat. He was very obviously hiding how much he was tipping. I'm one of those tip at least 20% people because I've worked as a server before, and I figure you want to take care of your server/bartenders because they deserve it, and you want to leave a good impression in case you ever go back somewhere. But is it too dramatic to stop seeing a guy because he doesn't tip well / he's cheap when you go out? I think this is a turn off. I went on a date once with a guy, and like it was a double date. We were hooking up kind of, and like it was a double date, and my friend and her boyfriend at the time, the check came and we all just threw down our cards, like didn't think anything of it. And he's like sitting there line by line, like
itemizing
checking
everything.
it. And I'm just like, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like just be the cool guy that throws on your card. Like,
right. Yeah. I don't know. It depends. It's hard to say. But I don't think it's a complete deal breaker if there's other things that you really like about him. I think it's something that could be overseen. But I mean, if you don't like him that much, it could be a deal breaker.
Or like, honestly, if you feel embarrassed, like bring cash. And if he's paying for the dinner, tip the server 20% with cash.
Right. That's true. Yeah. You could. Yeah,
like maybe he doesn't have the money, but then also I guess, I don't know, because 10% is really low, I feel.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that is.
Like 18%, 15%, but 10
Right.
feels really like embarrassing.
Right. And not even embarrassing, just kind of rude. Unless you had a really bad server. But
well, because I feel like
not even if you were on a date, if you're out with your friends or anything.
Especially during COVID and stuff. Like I was tipping way more because I felt like people really needed it.
Yeah. Yeah, but if it is a money thing, it's a weird topic because it's, you never know certain people.
That's why I kind of think you offered a tip if he's picking up the bill.
Yeah, that's not a bad trade-off too. Like, hey, you're gonna pay for the bill. Let me put the tip down, and then you look like you're you look like the good person.
Because like maybe if he doesn't have enough money, he shouldn't be paying for the whole dinner anyway, and you guys should be splitting it more.
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, and I guess on the bright side,
unless they're splitting it and she's tipping 20 on her half and he's tipping 10.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, to look on the bright side, at least he's paying for the meal. That's always a good thing.
It's more just like there's a difference between being cheap and being rude. And I think that's the biggest thing here.
And why does he do it every time? I get if it's one time and it was a bad server or you didn't get good service, but every time seems like he's obviously doing it on purpose and that's just his thing to do that.
Yeah, it seems like he just doesn't have the money. But It's so tough.
It is very hard.
But I guess if you don't have the money, then maybe you shouldn't be going to a place that requires like service like that.
Right.
You know, because it's not really fair to them.
No, because they're working just as hard.
I don't know. I think you're justified in feeling turned off. I don't know if you should end things. I think you could talk to him about it or just offer to pay the tip.
Right. Just ask him, is there a reason that you only do this? Also, just share your opinion.
So
People
awkward.
can have different opinions. You could say, I always leave 20% because that's just how I feel. Especially her opinion's valid because she used to work in the restaurant industry. Is that what she said, as a server? So her opinion's completely valid. She knows what those people go through and she can relate to it. So if that's her reasoning, I think it's completely fine to bring up if you're comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah, I would think so. 100%. Okay, we have a long one for our final one. Okay, so heads up, this will be extremely long, but I need advice from a third party and need to give all the details. For context, I'm from Canada and have been in lockdown for over a year. A strict lockdown where you can't buy anything but food and medical things. My cousin, 26 years old, got married this month. She had been planning her wedding for less than a year in the middle of the pandemic. For context, we were close and did everything together growing up. So I was asked to be one of her bridesmaids and said yes. I was super excited, and when she first got engaged, her family didn't seem too happy. So I ordered all the corny bride things and made her this adorable box to show her how happy I was for her. I went above and beyond with her for all of her wedding stuff, took unpaid time off of work to get her dress, ran around and picked up decorations. I even bought some of her favors for her. I work in an industry directly affected by COVID and fear of getting let go weekly. Cut to April when our Providence got shut down. She refused to move her wedding to a later date. She wants to get pregnant and said she had her favors already made. I talked with her, stating that if she is not making her guests get COVID tested, I would have to be off work and move out of my house for 2 weeks. I live with my sibling who has a pre-existing condition that COVID would affect significantly. After my phone call with her, she refused to talk with me, and I reached out twice before her wedding. She read the message but never responded. Finally, I got word from my grandma that she was mad at me for saying that COVID stuff about her wedding. Wow. Long story short, she proceeded to uninvite my family and me to her wedding and stated it was due to COVID. The Providence we live in states to only have 10 people at a wedding. I reached out to her wedding day to wish her well, no response. Wow. We found out that 30 people went to her wedding, and I quote, they care about them as if we don't.
Oh, wow.
Now our families are fighting, like actual fighting, no longer speaking and making plans for the summer without my family. I've had many family members say to me that I need to make it right. I feel like I don't have to do anything as I did nothing wrong. I've reached out multiple times and I've heard nothing back. Plus, I never said I wasn't going to her wedding. I expressed concern as I live with a sibling whose health matters significantly to me. I was the one who got uninvited after spending hundreds of dollars on a wedding I didn't get to attend. Please give me some advice.
This is so sad.
Your cousin's a psycho.
Yeah, that seems insane. I think if everybody has different COVID opinions.
Yes.
And I think you just have to understand everybody's side. And if you're
But for her
someone
to
who
cut her
can't,
out-
if you're someone who can't understand that,
If someone you know is has health conditions.
Yeah, health conditions. Yeah. Like if you can't understand those things and like you just have a different opinion, like you're not a good friend.
You're also just a selfish human.
Right.
First of all, you were saying you would have to Canada, I don't know because obviously I don't live there. I don't even know what the hell Providence is. It's like a state.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess like first things first, like you guys have had such extreme strict restrictions that I understand the fact that you're saying you would have to take off of work for 2 weeks. You would have to quarantine. All of these things where like it's very tough for you to be there. And I think by you expressing that didn't mean you weren't going to go. You were just expressing, hey, I think maybe you should like think about moving your wedding considering our country's locked down. I don't think it's justified for her to, first of all, act that way towards your entire family.
Right.
Because they didn't do anything. Not that you even did, but if she, in her irrational mind, thinks you did do something, it has nothing to do with your parents or siblings.
No.
I just think people with weddings and stuff like this become so like me, that it's like there's other people too. I get it's your day, but it's like your family is making sacrifices to be there too. And especially if she didn't appreciate all the stuff you did for her. It sounds like you went out of your way to go above and beyond as like a cousin and a friend. And if it's not appreciated, like it really is unfortunate, and maybe you could mend it down the road, but it's tough because what else can you do?
I know. And it's hard. Like, wouldn't it, as the bride, as your day, I get it's about you, but wouldn't you want those people at your wedding? Like, wouldn't you want to try to find a way to be able to have,
no, because I feel like in her head,
friend,
she's like, screw them. They don't care about me.
Right, exactly, which
like,
makes no sense.
No, she's not even seeing it clearly.
Right.
She thinks you turned your back on her. I think I know you don't want to apologize because you don't think you did anything wrong, but like for the sake of keeping the peace, I think you could always extend an olive branch and explain your position without just being like, look, I went above and beyond. I tried to make your day special. I had every intention of coming to the wedding. I don't know where things got lost in communication, and I'm really sorry that things had to come to this point, but I don't want this to impact our future relationship and like the relationships between our family.
Right.
So I think you could reach out and extend an olive branch without being like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Right, because it's not your fault. So, but yeah, if you do just kind of like want to put it behind you, I don't think an apology would be the worst
I'm
thing.
so curious what the cousin's like interpretation of this all is, because
there's obviously two sides to stuff, but
clearly she thinks
being selfish in her own right.
Yeah. Like her interpretation of what happened doesn't sound like what actually happened.
Exactly.
She feels so burned.
So there might be a miscommunication somewhere in there, which could be the issue.
Yeah, you never know. I hope that helped a little bit. Okay, guys, let's spill the tea. There are a few things to talk about. So first of all, the Love Island winner was announced, Love Island US. I'm very happy with the outcome. I won't say because I don't want to spoil, but like I said, I am having a Love Island bonus episode this week with the second runners up. So stay tuned for that. I wanted to talk about Travis Barker.
Oh, yeah.
Flying for the first time since his plane crash.
Yeah.
Do you know, like speaking of, I guess this is a very flight heavy episode, but like as a nervous flyer, I don't know how he got on that plane after what he went through.
Right. As a nervous flyer, nothing's ever happened to.
Yes, exactly. Right, that's what I'm saying.
So imagine having that anxiety plus you've been in a horrible accident once
That's
before.
what I'm saying. I can't even comprehend like what that meant to him. And I wonder like what his mental state was like in the air.
Right.
Like I just want to know, was he calm?
Yeah. Was he
peace?
drinking?
Was he like passed out?
Right.
Like, I have so many questions. First of all, that is love.
Oh my God. Yes. 100%.
Like maybe he just never had anyone push him.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's that Courtney pushed him, but maybe he was like, my life is you. And like, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down together.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's just so in love with her that he's like, I just want to see the world with you.
Right.
I can
believe that.
I can't believe he flew and Kourtney Kardashian like is the one to like make him
bring
fly.
him to do that. Yeah. That is funny. I know. It is crazy to have such a horrific thing happen. How long was it?
It was like
how long ago?
I think it was like 20 years ago or something.
Okay.
Loosely, I have no clue. But I heard that he was covered in like 3rd-degree burns. He had skin grafts. Like, he was lit on fire, completely like traumatizing. And then 2 of his friends passed away.
Right.
Like it was so awful that I, as like a nervous flyer, I can't even explain to you. I give him so much credit.
Yeah. No, I know.
I don't think I would ever step foot on a plane again in my life.
No, I don't think I ever would.
But at the same time, I'm so happy he did because like your life doesn't have to be over just because something traumatic happened to you.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely like cool to see, and maybe it'll inspire other people that have kind of maybe been in that situation.
I feel like there's just like not that many like plane crash survivors out here.
I know there's not, which is crazy to think that he's one of them because he's like so famous.
It's honestly like I have anxiety just thinking about it. Like it makes me like, that's like when Peter was like, oh, you want to fly with me sometime? I literally got a pit in my stomach just thinking about being in the air with Peter as my pilot.
I know.
He just seems like too young to be my pilot.
Yeah, I know. Because he was even telling that story about how most of the other pilots are like older, so they don't even recognize him like from the show or
I'm
whatever.
Like, no shade to him. I'm just so scared of flying that like I don't care if it's like an ancient man. I'd be like, he's too old to be a pilot.
Exactly.
Like, it's literally
there's no in between.
I could find a loophole with any
everything.
person.
I know. Yeah, that's so funny. I'm like not horrible flying, but I don't think I fly enough or have flown enough in my life to like be anxious about it. But even if you're not anxious, there's always some sort of like nerve-wracking thing that could happen. And you just don't know.
My flight anxiety, which this is ridiculous because I was in 5th grade, but my flight anxiety was stemmed from 9/11, which is crazy because it has nothing to do with
but still.
I'm not nervous my plane's going to get hijacked. That's not what freaks me out. It's just a lack of control.
Yes.
And that's what anxiety is, a lack of control.
Right.
And I think that made me at a young age aware of the fact that like you're not in control of where you're going once you're up there. You can't just hop off.
Right.
Like if I was on a bus and someone tried to hijack it, I'd roll out the window.
Yeah.
Like it's just feeling trapped and feeling like you don't have... Like, if they gave me a parachute, I'd be like, yeah, fine.
You're like, well, I have a better option here.
Like, yeah, it's just something about the lack of control for me.
No, that makes complete sense.
So, yeah. Okay, sorry to go on a spiral.
But good for Travis for doing
Oh, my God.
that.
Kudos to you, Travis. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah. No,
because
it's cool. It's really cool.
that takes balls.
Yes, a lot of courage.
Like, I feel like people are talking about it, but no one's, no one's talking about how wild it is that he did that.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people are talking about it because I'm pretty sure the headline I saw was like Travis flies with Courtney first time since accident. So I think it's almost revolving around the Kardashians, which everything always revolves around them when they're involved. But I mean,
but like
whether
Travis
he was
flies
with her or not, it shouldn't make a difference that he did that.
Yeah, like it's just huge. And I also think, I'm still talking. I also just think it speaks volumes about his trust in her.
Right.
It's like really cute.
Yes.
Okay.
They love each other.
The Kissing Booth 3
Oh my God.
is not a Hibley. It's a hi. It's a he. First of all, the first one was cute. The second one, awful. The third one, disgusting.
Disgusting. I was thinking about this. I think the first one was only good because it was the first one. So it was kind of like getting into it and people were going to watch it no matter what. So you're kind of just like, oh, this was a cute movie. It had a cute storyline. But after that, it just straight downhill.
No, because like To All the Boys I Loved Before, I've watched like 4 times.
Oh, me too.
The Kissing Booth, I watched it once and I'm like, I never have to watch this again in my life.
Yeah, that's it for me.
I enjoyed it. It was cute, but it's a Hibley.
Yeah.
The first one's a Hibley.
Exactly. I think the first one, like you almost didn't realize the bad acting or the plot.
Yeah.
Because it was the first one. So
and
you
it's
had
like
to watch it.
Teeny bopper.
Yeah, it's cute.
The second one, I don't even remember one thing about it. I just know it wasn't good.
No.
The third one, I couldn't finish it. I've started it, paused it, started it, paused it. It is so bad.
It was so bad. I mostly finished it for entertainment purposes because it was like comical to watch.
The whole plot, like
I literally took notes because
how does it finish? Does she go to college with
oh no, she doesn't.
She doesn't go to college.
Yeah. She doesn't go to college. She doesn't go to either of the college that the boyfriend or the best friend.
So where does she go?
She gets into USC, but not until a semester after because she didn't like go to college initially because she had made up her mind when like first semester. So she interviewed to be in like the video game design program at USC.
So is she still dating the hot brother?
No.
They broke up.
Yes.
They weren't meant to be.
No.
But now how is she supposed to sit at family dinners with her BFF when it's like, I fucked your brother?
It's insane. And like it's literally crazy. I literally was like took notes. Oh, my roommate and I watched together. We were dying when they did you see the racetrack when they did like they dressed
Mario
up?
Kart?
Yeah. But then the best was when the older brother, Noah, when he was mad at her and then they had to have a serious conversation and she was just wearing the Mario outfit. Like,
do they intentionally make her look worse than she is?
Yes, that's the thing. Like,
because she's a cute
very
girl.
Pretty girl, but I just feel like she always looks like she looks bad in the movies.
But like,
for some
why do
reason.
they do this to her?
I don't know. It's like her forehead is huge, but it's not in real life. So I don't
in real life,
like,
she's like the cutest little girl, and it's like they just like make her look like a tomboy or something.
Yes.
Why is styling in movies like this? I have a gripe. Why is styling in movies so bad? Like even the new Addison Rae movie that's coming out in the previews, it's like people don't dress like that. Like why don't they dress people like how we actually dress in real life? They always make it so like costumey,
right?
Like,
over the top.
Yeah, like the hair's weird and like the girl's hair's always like from the 80s. Yeah, it's like just make it like a normal person that you see on TikTok.
Right, like a teenager. Yeah,
put them in some Nike Air Force Ones and straight like jeans and a crop top like the Gen Zers are wearing.
Right, exactly, and make it normal.
They make it so weird.
It's so weird, but the movie was so bad. I'm trying to look at my notes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then even at the end, you didn't watch the end. The mom just didn't sell the house. She kept it.
After all that.
And they're like, you're leaving millions of dollars on the table. And she's like, I don't care. And then just walks out. I'm like, no one would literally ever do that.
I was
like,
going to say
millions
also,
of dollars.
that house was insane.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, holy hell.
Right, I know. Like, where did they get that money?
They're like on my family beach house, and all of a sudden we walk out, and it's like panoramic views of like the ocean.
Yeah, it's literally insane. Like a millionaire would live there. And then when she was, oh my god, what made me so mad was when she was mean to the dad's girlfriend. Did you see that part? It might
Yeah,
be towards
such
the
a
end.
bitch.
She was horrible to her. I'm like,
so
what the hell?
mean.
Yeah.
And just like also, what's his name in real life? I keep Noah.
Oh, Jacob. No.
Jacob Elordi.
Yes.
He's hot. Like
He's so hot.
He's so hot, and like I feel like he's risen to fame by dating Kiara Gerber. I don't know anyone's name.
I don't either.
What? Cindy Crawford's daughter. He's dating her.
Okay.
And he has become like so hot in the tabloids, like always dressed amazing, looking like this like little perfect tall like surfer man. And I feel like this movie is a step down from the public image he has created.
Yes.
It's like we view him as this sex symbol, and then it's like you're in the kissing booth 3.
Right. Why are you in that? Also, he used to date Joey King,
Which is
so
wild.
that's what's so funny. They're doing the scenes while they're literally exes, and they have to pretend like they're in love still. It must be so awkward.
I was
to do
thinking
that.
about this, and like he has a full blown new girlfriend.
Right, and I get it's acting, but to what extent can you not be like kind of still like, I don't know. It's like, to me that feels weird, but I guess they're actors so they can do it.
I would hate that.
I would be so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
But also, I understand why people in relationships fall in love with their co-stars.
Oh my God,
Because you're being allowed to cheat. And I get
Yes.
it's for work, but
Yes.
you're still okay. Like, let's say I'm on a movie set. I'm married.
Yeah.
I'm on a movie set with Zac Efron. I'm just painting the picture nicely. And we're having sex scenes, and I'm kissing Zac Efron and dry humping him. And all of a sudden, during our fake kisses, we have amazing chemistry.
Emotional
like, you could just
connection, yeah.
feel it. Like, you just know when you get
Right.
the fanny flutters.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Like, so I'm kissing Zac Efron. I'm happily married, but then all of a sudden, day after day,
You're
week after
second
week,
guessing, yeah.
I'm like, holy hell! Like, me and my husband don't have this kind of sexual chemistry.
Right.
Like, then all of a sudden, you're on set, and like Zac Efron says something, and then you start kissing a little bit off camera.
Right.
It's like, I get why Brad Pitt cheated on Jennifer Aniston
Yeah.
with Angelina Jolie.
Right. I could literally never be married to an actor or someone that's
Yeah,
like that
I'm not
because
saying
I
it's
would be
right.
So yeah,
But
yeah.
I get it.
No, but yeah, it makes sense. Like
Because you're being forced to kiss a hot person.
exactly,
It's like
you can't
we're
not
human.
help it. Yeah, I saw a thing that was like, it's like a meme or something, but it says like, I don't understand how when they don't fall in love. He's like, I don't understand how actors who are together in a movie don't fall in love with each other. Like, I fall in love with the guy who held the door open for me that I don't even know his name.
As a viewer watching the movie, I'm in love.
Exactly.
So it's like,
how are you making out with this person and not falling in love with them? Like, I completely understand when things
I
like
get
that
it.
happen.
I
Yeah.
totally get it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's insane. I don't know how they do it. It's wild. But I couldn't even imagine being Joey King and Jacob.
So now picture being in love with that person, and then you break up and they're with someone else, and then you still have to dry hump your ex.
Yeah, exactly. It's so uncomfortable. I could not stop thinking about it the whole
Also,
movie.
okay, this is really graphic, but now, sorry. What if like you're making out in this scene, and then like you could tell that he gets aroused?
Oh, yeah.
Like I'd be like, he still cares
Ooh,
about
yeah,
me.
Exactly. No, that's so true. Oh my
I'd
God.
be like, I still got it.
and naturally a man will just
like-
because he's a man.
this like actually trips me up.
It's so weird. Yeah, I literally could never do that again because I fall in love with anyone that's like says hi to me.
Same. I'm like, oh my God, he looked at me.
Like, oh,
He's
they were
so
nice
hot.
to me. Yeah. I'm like, oh, he has feelings for me. It's wild.
Oh my God. All right, guys. That is today's episode. Stay tuned for the bonus Love Island episode. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Episodes go up every Tuesday. I interview reality stars, influencers, all the good people. We talk about mental health, body positivity, all the good shit. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.